is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Have you ever seen The Hills Have Eyes? You know, those creepy, weird people that come out of the hills that are like mutant-like and have no regard for anything other than their urges and needs. And you're like, oh, that doesn't exist. Yeah, well, meet the family of Rebecca Park. A woman who raised Rebecca Park. This is a good one. This is not the biological family of Rebecca Park. Spent 18 years hiding her from her biological mother. For good reason. She knew Cortney Bartholomew was dangerous. She told the Detroit News she'd hidden those kids for nearly 2 decades because she believed something like this was always a huge possibility. She wasn't paranoid. She wasn't overreacting. She was right. And on November 3rd of 2025, Rebecca Park, 22 years old, 38 weeks pregnant, days away from delivering her third child, was allegedly lured to her biological mother's home in Boone Township, Michigan. According to court documents, the story was simple. They were going to get laundry soap and ice cream. Cortney would bring her right back. Rebecca never came home. Her phone was found on a 2-track road less than 200 yards from the Bartholomew residence. For 3 weeks, volunteers combed the Manistee National Forest while Michigan State Police and the FBI assisted in the search. What nobody knew at the time, what we now know from probable cause documents, is that Rebecca was allegedly killed the same day she disappeared. Every search party, every flyer, every desperate social media post happened while she was already gone. On November 25th, a volunteer searcher found her body roughly 2.5 miles from the Bartholomew home, covered in leaves. And I warn you, I said the hills have eyes? This is worse. Her abdomen had been cut open, and the baby was missing. But wait, there's more. And this is where the case goes from tragic to genuinely incomprehensible. We're going to go through all of this. This is just such a, my God, story. It's like when I first heard the baby being cut out thing, like, what? And then there's this. Before we get to it, I'm going to ask, please, wherever you're listening to us or watching us, hit subscribe so you don't miss our coverage of this story, and leave a comment. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I can make zero sense of any of this. I don't think any healthy brain can. But your comments on YouTube, would love to see them. Let me walk you through the relationships here because they matter. Rebecca's fiancé was a 43-year-old man named Richard Falor. He's the father of the unborn child. He's also a registered sex offender. It's a whole other conversation as to why, Rebecca, you thought it was a good idea to have children with registered sex offenders. I don't know. I'm not trying to shame the dead here, but I guess when you look at this in a whole and you see where she came from and the people who formed this brain, you go, okay, she didn't have a fucking chance in hell. She's been victimized her entire life. When she did and didn't know it. You got to feel a lot of sympathy for this person, this soul who has been nothing but tormented and I mean, that's it. It's a tormented soul. You can't expect people to make good decisions when they've really pretty much been surrounded by nothing but bad. Court records show multiple convictions for criminal activity involving victims between 13 and 15 years old with this guy, dating back to 2003 and 2015. There's also a 2005 conviction involving an incapacitated victim and a 2015 conviction for accosting children for immoral purposes. So that's Dad. According to probable cause affidavits obtained by People magazine, Falor wasn't just in a relationship with Rebecca. He allegedly had affairs with both her biological mother, Cortney, and her 21-year-old sister, Kimberly. He was just that irresistible. Both women told investigators they were romantically involved with him. Almost makes you want to throw up, doesn't it? God, it does. It's like physically, it makes you ill. Again, it's one of those stories where it's like, I hope drugs were involved. I really hope drugs were involved, because why else would you make these choices? If your brain is operating on like normal and you're like, this is the guy I got to hook up with. No, there's zero hope for that. If there's drugs involved, you're like, well, the drugs played a factor. I mean, and judging by their images, I mean, we don't know, but we do, but we don't. I'm going to guess there might have been a little meth. It's a little. I don't know. I don't know. Pure wild speculation. God damn, that stuff makes people do crazy shit. So you have a pregnant woman whose fiancé allegedly slept with her mother and her sister, the mother who gave her up, the sister who grew up in foster care, the same man. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, just when you thought even Springer would be like, yeah, that's a bit much. Bradly Bartholomew, Cortney's husband and Rebecca's stepfather, also had a documented history of sex crimes against children. Court records show in 2011 conviction for criminal-esque conduct involving a victim between 13 and 15, a 2016 conviction for possessing child material, multiple failures to comply with the registry. This is the man prosecutors say helped take the life of Rebecca. And visit Pure Michigan. Visit puremichigan.org. Remember the old Tim Allen ads? Now, look, Michigan's a lovely place. I lived there for several years by choice. I lived up near Petoskey, Traverse City area, up in the, it's a beautiful area. It really, I don't want to say anything bad about Michigan, but I'll tell you what, you get to some of the rural stick areas, it's kind of like Appalachia, too. There's more militias in this state than any other place, and I'm not getting political here or what anything, but there's a lot of very unhealthy thinking going on out in the sticks. Like this, for example. Very insular, very non-worldly, very much, we're good with all this is life. This is how it works, and nobody knows any different. And this is how you create an ecosystem where this sort of stuff thrives and takes place. There's plenty of areas, like really with any state, but there's plenty of areas in Michigan, out in the woods, in the wilderness, where you don't want to break down. It's beautiful, but you don't want to break down. Because anybody coming to help you, Yeah. Again, not all of it. But look, anybody who lives there, I loved it there. Weren't so damn cold, I'd probably still be there. But if you're going to be honest, yeah, you get to some areas in that state and these folks exist. It's like The Walking Dead in some places. But again, I'll say that about pretty much any state in this country. You go to certain areas, it is literally like The Walking Dead. Thanks to a little drug called meth. And poor decision makers. Now let's talk about what the state alleges actually happened here. According to the probable cause affidavits filed in Wexford County's 84th District Court, Cortney Bartholomew picked Rebecca up from Farlow's home on November 3rd. The cover story was ice cream and Tide Pods. You got to wonder with folks like this if it's like ice cream and give us scissors. Sprinkle this Tide Pod on. Isn't this great? I know, it's now with Oxy. I love it. Is this sherbet? The Oxy goes great. I'm using the free and clear Tide today. It's less filling, tastes great. No, they were actually going out there to do laundry or to get Tide Pods for laundry and ice cream. That's the story. I mean, that's what Rebecca thought was going to happen. So, what actually did happen? Ice cream and Tide Pods, right? Cell phone and location data allegedly showed Rebecca's device traveling to the Bartholomew residence and then stopping. The affidavits indicate Rebecca also received approximately $2,000 from a family inheritance the same day. Kind of amazing. That money even exists with decision makers like this. Prosecutors allege this wasn't spontaneous. They say it was planned and researched. Here's one more disturbing detail from the court documents on October 28th. Days before Rebecca went missing, Cortney allegedly texted her sister claiming she had given birth to a premature baby boy named Ashton Lee Bartholomew, who was supposedly in the NICU in Grand Rapids. Well, guess what? That baby didn't exist. Then on November 3rd, the day investigators believe Rebecca was killed, Cortney allegedly texted again, claiming the baby had died. She was apparently laying groundwork for a child that wasn't hers, a child that, according to prosecutors, she intended to take. The affidavits describe that what allegedly happened next. Rebecca was reportedly forced into a white Ford F-150, taken into the woods behind the Bartholomew property. According to statements the Bartholomews gave investigators, she was stabbed multiple times, front and back of her torso, her face. Her autopsy documented a collapsed lung and extensive cutting across her abdomen. According to the Cadillac News, Cortney Bartholomew allegedly told investigators that Rebecca was conscious when she cut the baby out. Bradly was allegedly holding a knife to Rebecca's throat. The cutting was reportedly done with a hunting knife. What the hell goes on? What was going on in the trailer that these people, because I'm gonna just random guess. It was Sunnyvale. But there was no Officer Leahy to step in and go, let the liquor talk, stay back, get off that meth. What the hell's going on in that conversation amongst that family? Well, I said we're going to get Tide Pods, and you got to put the northern accent. Yeah, they say go get the Tide Pods. I'm going to say we go get ice cream, and I got the knife. We cut the baby out. Oh, that sounds good. I mean, feels like these people are probably just a level above grunting in terms of how they communicate with one another. I don't know if you can technically classify them as human beings anymore. I don't. I feel like in some areas of the country and the world, we're creating people that are of another species. And this is a prime example of it. These are not human-like behaviors. Surprise, surprise, the baby allegedly didn't survive the extraction. According to the affidavits, Bradly told detectives that Cortney placed the baby in a garbage bag, then into his blue lunch cooler. That cooler was allegedly kept at the house before being dumped in a residential trash can. The hunting knife reportedly went into a dumpster in Cadillac. The baby's remains have not been recovered. Who else wants to take a bath in Purell now? Rebecca's body was allegedly dragged off the road with a plow cord and covered with leaves. Bradly reportedly cleaned the truck with bleach afterward and helped burn the seat covers to destroy evidence. Both Cortney and Bradly gave investigators multiple conflicting accounts before and after Rebecca's body was found. They pointed fingers at each other. They blamed Kimberly Park. They blamed Richard Falor. They suggested various other people. Cell phone records and search warrants returned allegedly contradicted their initial denials. Eventually, according to the affidavits, both placed themselves in that truck with Rebecca on the trails where she died. But here's the thing about their statements. They don't agree with who did what. Cortney allegedly claims Bradly stabbed Rebecca, held the knife to her throat, ordered her to perform the cutting, then slit Rebecca's throat and dragged the body. She reportedly told detectives she said of the baby that he stuck it in a cooler and threw it in the trash. She claims she was trying to save the baby. Bradly allegedly told a different story. He reportedly said Cortney stabbed Rebecca in the truck and used a scalpel in the woods. He allegedly told investigators his wife was jealous that Rebecca was always bad-mouthing her. Oh, that bitch. Then Cortney wanted the baby for herself. Are you following along? Neither am I. Because none of it is sane. Both versions end with Rebecca dead in the woods and a baby in a lunch cooler. Neither version makes anyone look innocent. Both Bartholomews now face 8 felony charges each: first-degree premeditated murder, felony murder, torture, conspiracy to commit torture, assault on a pregnant individual causing miscarriage or stillbirth, conspiracy to commit assault, unlawful imprisonment, the removal of a dead body. 6 of those charges still carry potential life sentences, and a partridge in a motherfucking pear tree. They're being held without bond, and the judge has prohibited them from communicating with each other while in custody. God, let them communicate. Let's let them and record it. That would be something to hear, wouldn't it? They would be just as fascinating. It's like, and these are the sounds of whales communicating in the ocean. We're like, wow, that is so fascinating. To hear these people go back and forth, and it's like, a baby could have a commissary Skittles. Baby. Like, wow. These are the evolution of humankind going back to the Neanderthalic type state. It's a new thing we're witnessing in society. A regression into cavemen. That would be fascinating. In a really weird, sick way. And then after that, you're just going to listen to whales for the rest of your life because your ears are going to be so violated. You're like, bring on the whales. Their probable cause conferences were scheduled for December 9th, but were adjourned because discovery materials were not ready. They've been scheduled now for 30 days out. So January is where we will learn More about that. Kimberly Park, Rebecca's sister, is charged with tampering with evidence, lying to police during a violent crime investigation, and filing a false report of a felony. According to her probable cause affidavit, she initially told investigators that the Bartholomews had struck Rebecca in the head, causing a seizure, and then disposed of her body. Well, that makes it better. She later allegedly changed her story, claiming Falor had confessed to her that he killed Rebecca and that something went wrong while trying to cut out the baby. Well, when you put it like that. Investigators reportedly found no evidence to support Kimberly's claim against Falor. Her bond was reduced from $750,000 to $5,000, and she's currently on house arrest with GPS monitoring. Falor himself is charged with 2 counts of delivering methamphetamine. Oh, we knew it was coming. Oh, we knew it. As I said earlier, maybe a little bit of meth involved. Well, Falor himself is charged with 2 counts of delivering methamphetamine, charges not directly related to Rebecca's death, but also it explains this. As a habitual offender with multiple prior felonies, those drug charges could still carry significant prison time. All 4 individuals are barred from communicating with each other as a condition of their release or custody. Why is anyone released? Well, pure Michigan. It's a place where the waves crash upon the shores of Petoskey, the Grand Hotel in all of its majesty sees another day on Mackinac Island. And babies get cut out of women's bodies in the woods by their Neanderthalic families as they all sleep with one another. That's pure Michigan. They don't run those ads anymore, do they? If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Pure Michigan ads, Tim Allen, and you'll understand the parody there. It's important to note, and I'll say this clearly, these are allegations. The Bartholomews, Kimberly Park, and Richard Falor are all presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The prosecution bears the burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. What I've described comes from probable cause affidavits and statements made by prosecutors in court. These documents outline the state's case. They are not evidence of guilt. But the facts that aren't in dispute are devastating enough. Rebecca Park was a 22-year-old mother of 2 little boys, ages 2 and 3. She was days away from having her 3rd child. She's been removed from her biological mother's care as a young child and raised by Stephanie Park, who adopted her and her siblings after the state terminated Cortney Bartholomew's parental rights. According to Stephanie Park, Rebecca knew she couldn't raise her kids the way she'd been raised. She wanted to make sure her children would be safe and loved no matter what happened. She'd already arranged for her adoptive mother to have access to them. Those 2 boys are now being raised by Stephanie Park. So is Kimberly's 1-year-old daughter. 3 small children trying to make sense of something no adult can explain. And the further away from this ecosystem they can be, the better their odds will be. Because let's be honest, if Rebecca was still around, you got 3 young boys, and the male influence is a convicted serial sex offender. It wasn't going to end well that way either. Maybe this, if there's any weird silver lining to all of this, maybe it's that these children can be moved far enough away from this madness that they will not repeat the cycle. Maybe that's it. If you're trying to find something, in no way am I saying this is a good thing that Rebecca's dead. No, I'm not in any way, shape, or form. But my God, things still going down the track were not going to end well. There would have been more kids in this ecosystem of madness. These kids should just be taken far, far away and never told of their parents' story, their history, their lineage. Tell them that their parents died on a something. I don't know. Surfing accident. They were lovely folks. It was horrible. It was tragic. A shark in Lake Michigan ate them. Never to be seen again. You guys were on the beach, and these lovely family found you, and that's all they need to know. That's all. Give them any inkling of this shit show, and you'll get inklings sometimes of people, I want to go find out where I came from. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Stephanie Park told reporters the boys are picking up on the fact that something is wrong. They're too young to understand what happened, but they can see that everyone is sad. A community vigil was held near the spot where Rebecca's body was found. And the baby, the child Rebecca was days away from meeting, has still not been found. The prosecutor in the case, Joanna Carey, called it evil personified. She says these two individuals allegedly created a plan, conducted research, and carried out a premeditated torture and murder. Those are strong words from a prosecutor. They're also based on what's in these affidavits. It's hard to argue with. A mother who lost custody of her children allegedly murdered one of them to take her grandchild. The husband who allegedly helped her is a convicted sex offender with crimes against children on his record. The victim's fiancé, the father of the unborn baby, is also a convicted S offender who allegedly had relationships with the victim's mother and sister. The sister allegedly lied to police multiple times and pointed fingers at everyone else before the truth started coming out. And the woman who allegedly protected Rebecca, the one who saw the daughter 18 years ago and spent nearly 2 decades trying to keep her safe, she's now raising 3 children who will grow up knowing what happened to their mother. Again, they don't have to. I would say to that lovely person who's trying to raise this person, and obviously this is what happened, move far away. Get the fuck out of Dodge. A shark ate mom and dad. And now you're here with us. In love. Rebecca Park deserved better than the family she was born into. She found better. For a while. And then allegedly the past came back for her in the worst way possible. Her surviving sons don't know what happened. But they probably will someday. And when they're old enough to ask questions, the answers will be in court records and news archives and documents like the ones we've been reading all week. 2 years old, 3 years old, and a lifetime of trying to understand. Rebecca Park was 22. She should have been home with her sons and her newborn baby right now. Instead, she's a case number in a probable cause affidavit and a body in the Manistee National Forest. And somewhere in Wexford County, a baby is still missing. I gotta go take a shower now. God. Your feedback in the comment section on YouTube. Would love to see it. Love to hear it. Looking forward to reading it. And I'll do my best to comment back. Please, let's hear it. While you're on YouTube, a little housekeeping here. Please do press subscribe so you don't miss any of our reporting. We're going to keep following this. If you're on Apple Podcasts or any podcast platform, hit subscribe there too. If you don't mind, if you got a moment, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that. We work really hard to bring you these stories, and a few kind words would be appreciated. Lets other folks know that we exist. So please do on Apple Podcast drop us a review. Until next time, I'm Tony Bruschi. We'll talk again.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.